Distance learning has become a lifeline for many learners. This is Dr. Leya Ouko Ouambo. I'm happy to be with you again and to welcome you back. Now, if you've been following my podcast series, you remember that in the past episodes, we explored distance education from three different angles. First, we discussed administrative support. This included policies, structures, communication, and even institutional readiness. Then we went further and looked at personal support that looked at mentorship, interaction, motivation, and the human side of learning. And finally, after that, we examined technological support. So this looked at platforms, connectivity, infrastructure, and even digital tools. So each of these episodes looked at one pillar, but today we are not isolating them anymore. Let's try today to connect them, because distance education does not operate in compartments. It operates as a full holistic system. And this episode is about the intertwining relationship between administrative, personal, and technological support, and why understanding their interaction really changes how institutions should design learning. Now, from parts to systems in our earlier conversation, each factor looked powerful on its own. Administrative support provided the structure, personal support provided motivation, technological support provided access. But research now shows something deeper. Students do not experience these supports separately. They experience them simultaneously, and their performance depends not just on the presence of one, but on the alignment of all three. So, instead of asking, do we have a platform or do we have policies, we must ask, do our systems talk to each other? So one works without the other. Let's imagine three common realities. For instance, a university invests heavily in technology. This is learning platforms, virtual classrooms, digital libraries, but registration is confusing and responses from administration takes weeks, takes months, takes half a year. Students log in, but they feel lost. Technology exists, but there is struggle in learning. Another institution has excellent policies and procedures. Okay? Clear deadlines, structured programs, strong academic regulations, but students rarely interact with instructors or peers. They understand the system, yes, but they feel alone. Administration exists, but there is unstable connectivity or poor technical support. The willingness is there, but the access is not. Personal support exists, but learning stops. Now, distance education fails not because one pillar is missing. It fails because the pillars are disconnected. Now, the interrelationship that we're looking at here concerns the study conducted in universities in Kenya and Senegal, as we've talked through the other podcasts. And this demonstrated that administrative support, personal support, and technological support together significantly predict the learner performance. This is important to note because this is a study, but not independently, it is collectively. Administrative support organizes the learning journey. Technological support enables the learning process. Personal support sustains the learning experience. Remove one and the system just weakens. But when you align all, performance improves, and distance education is therefore not just a platform. It is a coordinated ecosystem. So what does this mean for institutions? So this is where higher education must, and I underline must, rethink its approach. Distance learning is often managed in silos. You find the ICT unit that is handling the platform, the registry that is handling the administration, of course, the faculty that handles the teaching, and then student affairs that handles all issues and the welfare of the student. But learners experience one university. It's not the departments. So note, please, that if communication delays registration, technology cannot compensate for it. And if technology fails, that means that the motivation collapses. So if human support disappears, access becomes actually meaningless. So the question now is no longer how good is our online platform. It changes. The question now becomes, so how integrated is our support system? That integration, it is so important. Now, what is our collective responsibility? So this is a call to institutions of higher learning that distance education should not be an ICT project. It should not be a registry project. It should not be a check on the box. It should not be a teaching project. It must be an institutional project. Policies must align to all this, and platforms must enable interaction. Now, these interactions must reinforce academic processes. Now, only then does access becomes success. So, as I close this podcast, I want us to reflect on the previous podcast where we examined each of these pillars separately so we could understand them clearly. But today, we see the bigger picture. Distance education succeeds not when support exists, but when support works together. This is clear. So as we continue this series, let me leave you with this thought. If universities redesign distance education not around courses or technology, but fully integrated support ecosystem, would student success finally match student access? Let's explore this conversation in the next podcast. Thank you for your attention. Goodbye. See you next time.